A special welcome and thank you for joining us for this evening's new members orientation presentation. I'm Stan Schulman and I will be leading the meeting this evening. I would like to thank all those presenting tonight for making themselves available either by attending in the club or on Zoom. The new member orientation is held in September and again in January each year. And it provides an important opportunity for us to meet, greet, and get to know each other personally. Since our presenters are in different locations, we are going to rely on the skills of Mike Fellhauer, our audio-visual technologist, to work his magic as seamless as possible. If you lose contact with us, just try logging in again. This club has so many activities that it is impossible to get into any details about any of the activities. So we have asked the presenters to simply provide an overview of their topic. The details will come with time, exploring the website and talking to members, attending meetings, or asking your buddy. Our first presenter this evening is Kathy Moore. Kathy joined the club in 2013 and is the club president and communications chair. Kathy produces the wonderful weekly newsletter you receive, a very talented photographer, able to photograph little bugs and turn them into works of art. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you, Stan. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it there tonight, but I'm hoping I will be able to meet every one of you. Stanley, can you move to the next slide, or Mike?
If Mike can allow it to be advanced, is
whoever's got the power. Wonderful. Thank you. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is just how to get information about our club. The number one place to get information is our website. And I know David will be giving an overview a little later, not tonight, but a little later in the year. Probably not, I shouldn't say year, but in the season. And that is the main place to get all your information. On the website, there is a page that says program, and you should be able to find the program, which is, if you're looking at the screen right now, the top left. However, always check the calendar because things can change. Things can change last minute, and especially for what's posted in the second season. There are some things that haven't been planned yet, and you'll see a TBA, to be announced. Always check the calendar before you head out, or just to confirm. But you certainly could download the PDF for the TTC program. Sorry, TCC program. Oh my gosh, I haven't done that in a while. So that's number one. The other one is the newsletter, which Stan already mentioned, and that will give you what is coming up I'm going to say in the next couple of weeks. Sometimes it's the next 3 weeks, but definitely what's happening the week that's coming, what's coming up that you need to be aware of, like competitions and submissions for competitions or workshops or whatever. So those two are the main sources. We have two Facebook pages. One is a public one that is anybody in the public who's on Facebook can have a look at. And the other one is a private page, which is called the Members and Alumni of the Toronto Camera Club. And that is for people who have been a member of our club in the past or who are a member currently. And you have to, put in a request to join. And I usually am the one that gets to admit people. So I try to check it every day. So I'm going to say within 24 hours, you should be, if you're part of our club, you will be admitted. We also have an Instagram page, and that one is used a lot for public announcements, for lectures, for sometimes for workshops, for our public presentation, for our salon. So those are pretty much the main ones. So if you can go to the next slide. Okay. Yep, you're correct. Okay, so let me have a look at this. And I did mention the club program. It's only published once, which is why it's a good idea to check the calendar, which is on the website. In the website, if you go to the front page, you should be able to get a list of the newsletters. You should be able to go to something that's called upcoming events, which I try to post the things that are happening that next week. We have the club newsletters. I also do the newsletter for the salon, which is an international competition that our club runs. And let's see, social media is run by several people in the club. We have somebody who manages the Instagram and Twitter. Mike does our YouTube, where you can find recorded events, recorded meetings, things like that. And events that are open to the public are posted on our public Facebook page. And you can have images showcased on our Toronto Camera Club Facebook and Instagram accounts by the people that are kind of organizing and trying to publicize our club. So I think that's all I can think about right now. If you look at that picture of the calendar, it is, you'll notice all the different colors. It's because each color represents a different part of our club, whether it's workshops, or it is lectures, or it is social activities or outings, and they are kind of color coordinated. And there is a place where you can find out what all of those mean. Any questions?
Any questions at the club?
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kathy.
All right. And if you have any other questions, even later at time, I will be at the club on Monday nights for sure. And you could probably ask almost any of the members, but I do look forward to seeing everybody. Okay, thanks.
Right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you again. Our next presenter is Matt Fripp. He joined the club in 2011 and is the co-chair of membership along with David Hillock. If you want to know anything about your membership or astrophotography, simply contact Matt. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, everybody, and welcome again. As Stan mentioned, I'm one of the membership co-chairs together with David Hillock, who is also in charge of the website. We are basically, our function is to help new members get registered, get along, and answer any questions they might have about their membership. And one thing I just want to mention briefly here are those things here, those membership cards. We obviously encourage everybody to come here in person if it's possible. And if you come in person, please put this thing on. It makes communication so much easier, because if you're like me, you might remember faces quite well, but not so much names. So if you look at somebody, hi, then it's easier. You have the card around your neck, and it's besides that, is also a prove that you're an active member of the club, that you're in good standing with the club. In other words, that you have paid your membership fees. The cards come with some colors here. I think it's more or less already described that just briefly. All of you got new cards, blue cards, because you're a new member. So, you know, anybody meeting you will immediately know they're a new member. Red cards are for those members that are in the board of the club. Now, if you have any suggestions, ideas, critique, or how the club should be run, just talk to one of them. We're always open for suggestions and that kind of stuff. The orange ones are there's two types. First of all, they're lifetime members. Now it's probably not very pressing for you guys, but after 30 years with the club, uninterrupted 30 years with the club, you'll be granted a life membership. So it means you're admitted for the rest of your life. Talk about in 2053 about it, but I doubt it will still be around at that time. And the other categories are the honorary members, which are members that really do a great deal of voluntary work, volunteering a lot. And those members, I guess it's at the discretion of the board who become a voluntary member. And then finally, we have those cyan turquoise ones that shows that the person wearing it is a volunteer. When we print those cards, we the space on the card is obviously quite limited. We try to put the most important functions or roles that person is carrying out on the card. So when you meet somebody, you will see what they're volunteering, and if you want to discuss something with them, again you know his or her name and function of the club. And I think that's about it. Are there any questions? Okay, I'll take this as a no. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matt. Our next presenter is Dror Orbach, who joined the club in 2011. He is the competitions and awards chair and serves on numerous other committees. We are very fortunate that he also has an excellent computer skills. Dror has a lot to cover tonight, as well as stand in for presenters who are not available. As a photographer, he has progressed through to the Masters division by producing some wonderful images. Welcome, Dror.
Thank you very much, Stan. Hi, everyone. It's great to see so many new members here. I really like to give you a warm welcome to the club and wish you all a very fulfilling and interesting and fun club season ahead. So I have a fair bit to cover, and one of the things I want to show you is some images, not just words, which I will do as examples from the different competitions, which I'm going to explain. But before we get into competitions, I'm also going to talk briefly about a number of the diverse club activities that we have. We really have a very full and rich agenda at the club in terms of the types of activities that members can participate in. And of course, most members don't necessarily participate in 100% of the activities, but there is a richness that allows each of you to figure out what are the most interesting things for you to participate in, where you might want to develop your photography skills. And personally, I participate in a fair bit, although not in everything. So our weekly meetings are every Monday night. Now, we have meetings on other nights too. I'll talk about that in a minute when I describe some of these activities. But every Monday night during the season, other than public holidays, we meet here at the club and on Zoom as a hybrid meeting. And our meetings are also recorded for the benefit of those who couldn't make them and may want to view them later on. Competitions, moving on to that, they are quite a significant part of our activities. And I'll talk about them in a lot more detail, so I'll not elaborate too much here. Each of the types of competitions that you see listed in the white bullets, I have, well, there's some slides about, something about later on in this discussion, perhaps other than inter-club competitions. I'm not sure those are mentioned later on. Those are where the club, this Toronto Camera Club competes against other clubs, for instance, in Ontario, in competitions that are run by the Ontario Council of Camera Clubs, or O3C, which is an umbrella organization for camera clubs all over the province, or competitions run by CAPA, the Canadian Association of Photographic Arts, which also pits different clubs against each other in different competitions. So I'll talk about each of these types of or categories of competitions a little bit later. All of our competitions in the past used to be run in the club. This is until the pandemic, really. All the competitions were run in person. So 3 judges would come to the club. We have a judging room downstairs. They'd sit there and view the images and score them in real time and judge them. And we would end up with results. Those judging nights were always open to members. Not everybody who's sitting here right now could fit in that room, but about 20 members could fit into the judging room, sit there quietly and experience how this judging happens, which is a very interesting experience to have. Nowadays, almost every competition is run online, with the judges being at home. It has the benefit that judges do not need to travel. It has the benefit that we can use judges from very far away who would not be able to travel to come here and judge competitions. And it has the disadvantage that you kind of lose that interaction that happens right there and then on the spot. But prints competitions, which involve physical prints, those have to happen in person at the club, and the judges are here. So those still provide an opportunity for you as members to come and experience this judging process live, firsthand. We have a series of lectures that are done every season, and those involve 6 lectures in the winter and 6 in the spring. So a total of 12 lectures. They're open to the public at $10 a lecture, but for members, they're free. So all of you here are able to come to any and all of these lectures when they happen at no additional cost other than your membership fee, which you've already paid. Those are external lecturers. There's a lot of time and effort invested in getting, figuring out who to invite, getting them to agree to come. And they're very interesting and on very diverse topics about, all about photography, of course, but covering a very broad gamut of topics. So a very interesting thing to look at. The details of what the lectures are all on the website in the calendar. And so you should be able to go there and see what they are. They typically happen on Thursday nights. And some of them are Zoom only. Some of them are hybrid in the club and Zoom. So you need to check the details. We run workshops for members. So we have some of our members who volunteer to run workshops in areas where they have expertise and skills and interest. I have a slide about that later. Those happen different days of the week, depending, and they cover a number of topics. And they're also an opportunity for any member, new or a long-standing member of the club, who has specific interests and skills that they are willing to help others learn about and understand, to actually volunteer to run a workshop like that. A workshop can be one evening for 2 hours, or it can be 4 hours over 4 weekend days or something. You know, it depends on what they are. We also have evaluation meetings. Those are meetings where experienced members of the club provide constructive feedback on the images submitted by other members who wish to receive that feedback in a non-competitive setting. So, you know, competitions provide a way to receive feedback from judges, which is formal feedback. But evaluation sessions actually happen before the competitions and enable you to bring an image to that, receive feedback, and then perhaps change it with that feedback in mind and submit it to a competition. So, or not submit them to a competition and just receive the feedback and use it for your advantage to improve your photography. This is taking a little long, but it'll shorten the time I take on each of the actual slides where these are discussed, which I'm also going to be presenting. So hopefully it won't be too long. Inspirational Images nights are nights in which we have either different themes where members provide images that they'd like to share within a theme, and those are presented to the membership on a Monday night, and a member might explain what it is that they or provide some description about what they photographed and how they did this or why it captured their attention and so on. And others are specific to individual people, where we might look at a particular member's portfolio, images they chose, and they can describe that. We have social events. Well, first of all, on a Monday night, if you're here at the club, we have a social after the end of the formal part of the meeting. And we go upstairs to the Powell Gallery. This is the gallery that we have upstairs. And have a beer or wine. You know, people would bring something and just chat and socialize. But we also have potluck dinners sometimes, and we have other social events that we do. We have breaks during our Monday night meetings in order to have a coffee and a cookie and, you know, just talk a little bit during the break as well. We do have outings, both local and weekend. There'll be more about that on later slides. Somebody else will be talking about those. We have some interclub events, which I've mentioned, and outreach events. I think what should be on this slide, and I definitely need to update that, is Powell Gallery exhibitions. So I mentioned the gallery. We're, I think, the only club in Canada that has its own building, and certainly the only club that also has a gallery in its building. And so we have exhibitions here, whether they are solo exhibitions of members, group exhibitions of a number of members. And right now we have an exhibition upstairs, which I'd encourage you to go and take a look at, of the winning images from our 3 nature competitions that happened during the regular season last season. So they're prints of those images up on the wall with some descriptive information, and they're beautiful images. Okay. So our competitions are really an opportunity for learning, growth, and recognition. They are a big part of what we of the activities that we do. Many of our Monday nights are dedicated to presenting the results of a competition, which allows everybody to see what fellow members are producing, what kind of images they're making, to get new ideas, to get new inspirations, and also to hear judges' comments about those images and learn for themselves what they might want to do or inspire themselves to do something that they haven't done before. So personally, I joined the club in 2011 in the beginners division. I liked photography, but I had no real experience in making images. Just before that, I took some basic lessons on basics of photography, like what is shutter speed and aperture and all of that. And I've just now moved from 2011 until now. So I've just now moved into the masters division, and competitions have been a crucial part of the experience that both motivated me to do more and to try and improve myself, and allowed me to learn from others, collaborate with others in understanding or talking about what we're doing, and improve. So we have three divisions in which competitions occur. One is the beginners division, the next is the advanced division, and the third is the masters division. We do not force new members to start from the beginners division. In fact, any member can decide to compete in any division that they want to. So some new members are already experienced in photography and feel that they would like to compete in the advanced or masters division. Is perfectly fine. The only caveat to that is if, and you can even change the division, by the way, during the year, during the club season. The only caveat is if you compete in a higher division, you cannot go back to a lower division later. So as soon as somebody starts competing in advanced, they can no longer compete in beginners. So, just need to take that into account. Now, what we do, quote unquote, force or, do automatically is if somebody in the beginners division earns enough awards, so they receive awards for their images in competitions, and they receive points associated with those awards. Once they receive what we call 10 points, whether they are competition or honor points, I'll explain the difference in a second. Once they get to 10, at the beginning of the next season, they must move to advanced. And in the advanced division, once they reach 25 honor points, they must move to masters. In that case, there's no choice, but they can move earlier on, depending on what they want to do, as I mentioned earlier. So what's the difference between competition and honor points? We only use competition points within the beginners division. The people in that division, for most of the competitions they participate in, will earn competition points. And once they move into advanced, the clock kind of starts from scratch with honor points. Because in advanced and masters, we're only counting honor points. But there are some competitions, what we call open competitions, where the division doesn't matter and everybody competes against everybody else, as opposed to competing only within your division, which is the norm. If we have an open competition, you get honor points if you win an award there, because you're competing against people from advanced and masters as well. So that's one thing. And also, there's some specific types of competitions. There's a type of competition where you submit a series of images. I'll just mention as an example, assigned topics. The third competition of the year is a series of 5 to 8 images. That earns people honor points. And the competition for audiovisual presentations, which do require a significant amount of effort to put in addition to being an open competition, people earn honor points for that. There are also year-end competitions, which are one-off competitions that happen only at the end of the year, where there's a competition for a trophy. And they are on specific topics. Those are all open competitions that earn people honor points. The types of awards we have in a competition are called honorable mentions, runner-ups, and top awards. There is one top, which is obviously the image that has the highest score, or if they're tied, if their image is tied, then the judges will decide which one is the best. There's a runner-up, which is the next best, only one, and then honorable mentions. How do we decide how many? We try to award all of the images that are in the top 3 scoring tiers. So let's say there's one image that scored the highest. There's another one that scored the second highest, and 5 images scored at the next level. We'll try to award all 7 an award, as long as that number does not exceed 22% of total submissions, because we do want awards to represent true excellence and not just, award everything. So that's part of the rule. I won't go into more detail there now. But this is in principle how we do that. Okay. Are there any questions? I've covered a lot of ground in this slide. Does anybody want to ask a question? Okay, if not, you can always ask me later, and you can always write an email and ask a question if you have one. You can ask me, you can ask any of the other of the specific competition chairs for individual competitions, and we'll give you an answer. So now I'd like to talk briefly about each competition, and what I want to do in these slides is to give you a sampling, just an example of some award-winning images from each of these competitions. And you'll see here that in each slide, I have one image submitted by a member in the beginners division, one image by a member in the advanced division, and one image by a member in the masters division. And that's denoted by the letter in brackets after their name. B for beginners, A for advanced, M for masters. You'll see the title of the image and the image itself. There are diverse awards. Some of them are honorable mentions, some of them may be top or runner-up, it doesn't matter. I just want to give you all a taste of what kind of images are there. In the case of nature, we have 3 subcategories: botany, zoology, and general. And these 3 images show you the 3 subcategories. Zoology, obviously, are wild animals. Botany is wild, non-cultivated plant life. And general are typically landscapes of any sort that do not have a meaningful component of what we call hand of man. In other words, you can't see man-made things there. If it's a very broad landscape and there is a tiny road somewhere there, it's still allowed. But the idea is you do not have hand of man in here. It's a natural landscape. Okay. Pictorial images are, they can have a very open subject matter. The only things not allowed in pictorial images are wild animals. But other than that, you can have pretty much anything in pictorial images. Many of those images are images of people. Many are architecture. Here you can see Pat Zest's pink tulip. Might have been in nature, but it's a tulip, so it's not a wild flower. It's actually cultivated, so it's not allowed in nature. But you could also have a wildflower here. Creative and altered reality. This is a type of competition where you the subject or the picture should not look realistic. In other words, you have to apply creativity to convey some sort of message or idea or do something with the image. All of the basic components that go into that must be your own photography. But you can have hundreds of images combined into one. You can have one that's distorted out of shape. You can do a lot of things here as broad as your creativity is, and create different types of images. As I mentioned earlier, we have prints competitions. And the idea here is that to take an image which may have started off as being digital, although we also have some members who take pictures with film cameras and develop them, and we have a darkroom in which they're developed as well, or can be developed. But the idea is that prints are an integral part of the art of photography, and it's not the same. The experience of looking at a print is not the same as, or looking at a screen is not the same as looking at a print. There's a different quality to looking at a print. And so we have competitions in prints. Some of them, the prints are always split into 2 types of competitions at the same time, running in parallel. One is prints monochrome and the other is prints color. So the example of the snow bench is from monochrome. Obviously, it's black and white. And the others are color. Assigned topics are competitions that revolve around a specific, each of them revolves around a specific topic. Usually when we run them, we have 2 topics to choose from, and you can submit 4 images and distribute them as you wish amongst the 2 topics. So you might have had bridges and trees in the same competition. I don't remember if they were, but you could have them in the same competition and decide if you want to submit 4 trees or 2 and 2 or 1 and 3, whichever way you want to divide it. They can be monochrome, they can be color. Same goes for pictorial. You can do monochrome, you can do color. It's up to you. The topics are, there's a survey that's done towards the end of the season. And based on the results of that survey, we end up so the members vote on different suggested topics. And we end up then, the chair of that competition selects the topics. Last season, we introduced a new competition called the Special Category Competition. This is an open competition that has 2 subcategories. One is street photography, and the other is in-camera creative photography. So, one of the differences between in-camera creative and the other creative altered reality is that in-camera creative has to be done basically in the camera without too much processing in post. So, whereas the main creative competition usually involves a significant amount of post-processing on images. Here, you might do something like intentional camera movement. While you're taking the photo, you move the camera, or multiple exposures within the camera itself that end up producing an image, and you get something as a result. So you can see 2 examples, one from street photography. Melanie Lopez is a member in the beginners division, and you can see that in this competition, she won the top image. This is an open competition. Everybody competes against everybody else, and a member in the beginners division won the top image for the subcategory street photography. Monica Dingle, who's also a member in the beginners division, won an honorable mention in the subcategory of in-camera creative. So we have a lot of members all across the board who do great work and succeed also in receiving awards and recognition through the competitions. You don't have to be in the master's division to do that. Okay, lastly, in terms of the types of competitions we have, there is a set of audiovisual presentations competitions, and those are fundamentally different to all the other competitions, because everything else revolves around one still image, or at most a series, let's say, of 5 to 8 images. Here, we're talking about essentially what is a video. So it's an MP4 video that is composed at least 80% of still images that are combined into the video with transitions and changes and so on, and animations, and may include up to 20% of actual video within the presentation. So it's more like it includes music, and it can include narration, it can include text. So it's a very different type of presentation that looks like watching a brief program about something. And the topics can be very, very diverse. They're completely up to the people who make them. They can be a maximum of 7 minutes and a minimum of 2 to 3 minutes. It's an open competition as well. So just some examples of the diversity that we've had here. Last season, these are some of the winning presentations. We had something about graffiti, or Graph in the Six, it was about graffiti in Toronto. We had something about fall in Ontario. We had a presentation called Fantastical, which is all about creative imagery and a creative story, and something about time. We also had a very beautiful presentation about a small village in Eastern Europe. And that one won one of our trophies in the year-end competition by Iskui. Iskui is also the curator, or the person responsible for our Powell Gallery and its exhibitions. The one that I want to show you, because I want to also enable you to see an example, not just of images, but also of a presentation, an audiovisual presentation, is by one of our members, Gareth Jones, who won the Eva Cato Trophy in the last season. That's a trophy for the best audiovisual presentation. And he called his presentation CBC Art Presents Rego Sejant. So you'll see that it has a look and feel as if it's a report or something that you would watch on the news. It's not. It's his complete creation. I'd like to, for us to spend about 5.5 minutes watching this video so you can appreciate what that is. Okay, thanks, Mike. I guess we can have the lights back. And I want to suggest that, please do not be intimidated by this. Because to me, watching something like this, and I've seen it before, watching it again, it can appear fairly intimidating. What Gareth does, he loves taking his images. He loves taking pictures of everyday objects and things that he sees in different places, and then using all sorts of software to manipulate them geometrically in different ways and create amazing images out of them. And in here, all of the images that you've seen, they started from a regular photograph that he took and which he then manipulated in post. Nothing here was, came from elsewhere. Nothing here is a pattern that he found somewhere else. Nothing was generated by AI. We do not allow generative AI in any of our competitions. So nothing is like that. It's all images that he took and changed. And many of the other essays that you'll see are completely different. And provide, in each essay or presentation, the photographer, the member who makes it, showcases a story that they'd like to tell. So the styles are as diverse and different as the members are. But this is an example of one of them. Okay. We've now covered all the competitions. Are there any questions about competitions at all? All right, I guess not. Again, feel free to, yes.
It's the idea of the images that are like recently taken.
You can go back as far as you want. You can submit images that you took 20 years ago if you want to. I'll tell you what personally, what my approach is that I'm not that interested in submitting images that I took a very long time ago, because I want the feedback to help me progress in my photography. So the things that I took more recently are the most, the most relevant to that feedback and to making progress. So I tend to submit things that are from the last year and not from more than that, really. Any other questions? Any questions from people on Zoom? All right. If not, we'll move ahead. There are a couple more things I'm going to talk about on behalf of some of the other presenters who were unable to be here. Christopher Sue he has multiple roles in the club. One of the things he does is that he is the chair of our nature competitions. He is a life member. I don't know how many years he's been here, but many. And he's an amazing nature photographer. One of the things that Christopher runs at the club is the image evaluation sessions. And those sessions happen, I think it's, is it 12 times? Yeah, they happen on Wednesdays before. They happen for pictorial images, for nature images, and for, I think also for creative. So at least for those 3 competitions, they happen ahead of those competitions, possibly also for assigned topics. So there's something like 9 to 12 of these sessions every season that occur before the due date for submitting images to the relevant competition. And each of them is focused on the topic of the upcoming competition. And members submit their images anonymously to Christopher. I mean, he knows who they are, who submitted them, but the 3 evaluators who he asks to comment on those images do not know who the member is who submitted the image. He asks 3 experienced members in the club. Some of them on occasion might even be judges, photo judges who judge in other clubs competitions. because our own members do not judge typically in our own competitions. They're all experienced members in the subject matter, and they will provide constructive feedback in a live session during this image evaluation session to the members who submit their images. So they're 7:30 to 9:30 on a Wednesday, and anybody can participate. If you do have questions, you may contact Christopher Sue. You have the email address right there to ask him about that. We also have a series of workshops. I referred to that earlier when I covered the overall set of activities that we do. Dermot O'Carroll is our club volunteer who runs or manages workshops overall. But each workshop or type of workshop is run by a different member depending on what it is and members who volunteer to do them. Typically, we have an introduction to photography workshop or photography for beginners workshop. I'm not sure who is going to be running that this season.
Tom Shaw.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Tom?
Tom Shaw.
Okay, Tom, you're there? Raise your hand, please. Tom is sitting there in the back. Thank you. Tom Sao he ran it last year. I wasn't sure if he's doing it this season as well, and he is. So any of you who would like to learn some of the basics, you're welcome to participate in that workshop. We have studio lighting workshops. We do have our own studio equipment at the club, and members who go through these workshops are later able to use the studio equipment to book the club and use the equipment for a nominal fee later on for their studio shoots. Gord McElroy, who's here, and Ira Weiss, I think Ira's here as well. Yes. Gord and Ira, can you raise your hands so people can see you? Okay, they're in the back there. They run these workshops. Dermot himself is going to run a series of workshops relating to post-processing and Lightroom and Photoshop. Not everybody is very experienced in those. In fact, we have members who shoot with a cell phone, and a lot of making a good image does not necessarily rely on having a very good camera or an advanced camera. Cell phone cameras are quite good these days. You can do a lot with them. And personally, I mostly use a mirrorless camera now, but I've also won awards in competitions with images I took on a cell phone because I didn't have my camera around with me when I saw what I wanted to photograph. It's a lot is about composition and light and what you see there, and then you can still post-process it, and you can even take raw images on what's called a RAW on a cell phone, and then have the flexibility in post-processing. So Dermot will provide a series of workshops on that, and I'll provide something on landscape photography that talks a little bit about taking the photos in the field and also about post-processing. I do a lot. I use HDR a lot. That's high dynamic range, and there are many different ways to do that. Some of them make the images look very unrealistic and artificial. I try not to do that and want to convey what I saw. So that's a workshop I'll be doing. And details will be on the club calendar. We don't have dates for all of these workshops just yet. They'll be on the club calendar. They'll be published in the newsletter. So make a point, I suggest, of reading the newsletter every Saturday when it comes out. I think, yes. So before we move to the next speaker, I'd just like to ask if there are any other questions for me. Yes. Mostly they are here in person. I don't know if necessarily all of them will be. It's possible that some will be on Zoom, but yeah, mostly yes. Yes. Image evaluation sessions, I think often are Zoom only. but I'm not 100% sure. I think it depends.
Yes,
on-
they are.
Yeah, are they all Zoom only?
All Zoom.
All Zoom, okay,
The club is closed.
all right, thank you. Other questions? Okay, well, I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you all very much.
But you're gonna do Dermot?
I'm sorry,
You're gonna take on Dermot?
I've done Dermot.
Oh, I see.
I've just
On that-
spoken
on
about
that-
workshops.
Yeah, on that slide, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next speaker is Lily.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Joel. That was quite some talk. And I really appreciate you being able to assist with some of the members not being here tonight. Our next presenter is Lily Markovic. Lily's going to be speaking to us on Zoom. Lily joined the club in 2006. She's a board director and the Toronto International Salon of Photography chair for the past 12 years. We are going into our 130th consecutive year, and it is an enormous undertaking. Shortly after completing one salon, Lily already starts preparing for the next year. She is also an accomplished master photography. Welcome, Lily.
I don't see Lily.
I don't think she's on Zoom.
She was supposed to be.
No, she isn't. She's not there.
Um,
About the salon, so members to get information.
sorry, Lily, I can't hear you.
We'll do a presentation about the salon.
On the salon.
Yes.
So we'll skip over this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
For those on Zoom, Lily is going to be doing a presentation next few weeks on the salon, so we'll get the information then.
Okay, so thank you, Lily. That was Lily. Our next presenter is Colleen Pollack, who I know is here because I see her. Colleen joined the club in 2021. She's an advanced photographer and a very knowledgeable leader of our local outings. Welcome, Colleen.
Thank you very much, Stan. Welcome our new members. So outings, what a great way to meet members, especially members that have similar interests, photographing interests to yourself. And so first I'll talk about the spring and fall nature outings. These are run by Christopher Sue. He's not able to be here tonight, so I'll try to tell you a little bit about them. But he is the expert to get to talk with. Basically, we have a fall outing coming up September 29th to October 1st. The spring and fall outings are multi-day outings, usually getaway outings outside of Toronto. The one coming up soon is member only to Algonquin Park. And Christopher is knows quite a bit about the park and the area that you'll be exploring to find great sunrises, sunsets, maybe some moose, and migrating birds and some more animals. There's also a spring outing. The past spring, the outing was to Aurelia and Kirkfield. And that was for, once again, it was a nature theme. Bluebirds. There's this really pretty amazing flower called prairie smoke. Once again, sunrises, hopefully a little bit of fog in there. And there have also been outings to Killarney. And that's kind of all I know. But anyway, everyone seems to have a great time. Now, local outings is what I am looking after. Basically, these outings are within the GTA, so that you can get to these outings by TTC. Or if not by TTC, we can set up a ride share to make sure that everybody can get there. These outings are led by member volunteers. You do not have to be an expert in a certain type of photography to lead an outing. All we ask is that you're an expert in the location. And that's what provides, we have members all over the GTA, which makes them more knowledgeable about photographic opportunities in their area, which provides a very rich experience for our members. The best place to find out about the outings, the local outings, is on our website. The outings are also mentioned in the calendar, but all of the details are in the a member section under local outings, and there's a tab for each date for the outings coming up. Currently, we have 3 outings scheduled for October. We have the Salmon Run at Etienne Brule Park, October 4th. Rouge Beach Fall Colors Flora and Fauna on October 15th. And October 28th will be the Moonrise behind the CN Tower. And the location for that is Humber Bay. If you would like to lead a local outing, which would be pretty amazing, please contact me at localoutings@torontocamera-club.com. Oh, in there. Well, anyway, you'll find it. Anyway, they're a lot of fun, great way to meet fellow members. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you, Stan.
Thank you. Thank you, Colin. In fact, I was looking ahead at those outings that have been advertised so far on the website, and I've really responded to that because they look really exciting. And our next presenter is Andrew Wodzinski. He joined the club in 2020 and he's an advanced photographer. He is the co-chair of the lecture series, putting together a wonderful selection of notable photographers to speak at our monthly lecture meetings. Andrew is also a member of the Powell Gallery curator team, organizing various gallery events. So welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Stan. Welcome, everybody. I also think I need to thank Drew, because he essentially covered my bullet points already. So let me just mention or say that the lecture series is a very exciting program that allows you to meet the best photographers, I would say even in the world. So this year we have 12 great speakers, 6 in the fall, 6 in the spring. The details about the speakers are not yet on the website, so apologies for that. This is coming soon. Our first lecture will take place on October 19th, and it's going to be Zoom only. 6 of our lectures are going to be Zoom only. 6 of them are going to be here in the club. So I encourage you, especially when they are here in the club, to attend them here. That's a great opportunity to interact with, as I say, very accomplished artist photographers. And I suspect that if you don't get enough inspiration for your photography in competitions, for instance, you'll leave a presentation in this program very inspired. So I think that I'll just stop here. As I say, the list of speakers, and we have fantastic speakers from all over the world, will be available on the website fairly soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Our next speaker is on Zoom, I hope. Francesco Cupini is standing in for Dave Smith, who is the director of the Darkroom. Francesco joined the club in 2018 and helped set up the Darkroom when it was reopened after the renovation. He's led several darkroom workshops and is quite knowledgeable about darkroom chemistry and procedures. Since joining the club, he's moved with his wife to Guelph, but continues to be a club member and volunteer. I would also like to mention Marco Acacia, who recently joined the club, has been an invaluable darkroom volunteer and has repaired and resurrected some of our darkroom equipment, and will also be leading the darkroom workshops this year and will be available for the darkroom tour to new members this evening. So welcome, Francesco.
Hello, everybody. Okay, so in the club, we are fortunate enough to have a very newly renovated darkroom, and is fully equipped with everything that is necessary to develop black and white film and print on enlargers. For members who did not use a darkroom ever in their life, or they are curious, or anybody that used it before and want to try, we offer workshops that are divided between instruction and practical work that they are done throughout the year. In the workshops, we do develop only black and white film, and then we make print out of the enlargers of those negatives on black and white paper. The reason nominal charge to cover the cost of materials used in the workshops currently is set as a one-time fee of $35, so it's very affordable. And a reservation to the workshops is going to be required. The fees can be easily paid at the e-commerce page on the website. And these workshops are scheduled throughout the year. You will find them in the club homepage at the calendar section and under darkroom. It will list all the available workshop and how to sign up to be booked in one of those. Frequently asked questions and information about the darkroom can also be found on the website at the program and darkroom section, and that includes a very extended frequently asked questions and informations and usage fees. If you are interested to try out black and white photography or to participate to one of the workshops, but you no longer have a camera to shoot the film, reach us out. We have limited amount of loaner cameras, and they can be provided, and you can shoot your roll of film before participating to the workshop. Also, the contacts are available at the same page in the Toronto Camera Club homepage. If you wish to become a regular user eventually, there is going to be an yearly fee that is set now at $30 to cover material and costs. You will be required to bring your own paper if you wish to print and continue. Marco, as Stan introduced him, is going to be on site. If you can raise your hand, I will not be able to see you. Anybody that wished to see in person the darkroom today, he's going to be available to show it downstairs after this meeting. Is there any question?
Just to say that the darkroom tonight will be part of the tour around the building.
That's right. It's going to be shortly because we're coming to the end of our presentation. And thank you, Francesco. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm the next presenter on the Buddy program. I joined the club in 2011, and I'm the Buddy program chair since 2017. By the end of 2021, I completed 5 years on the board of directors. And after a year's break, I was again invited to join the board again, for which I'm quite happy to do that. As a photographer, I complete in the advanced division. At our club, we recommend allocating a buddy for any new member so that you will have at least one member you can contact by email or phone should you have a question or concern. Having a buddy at the club can make a huge difference to the speed at which new members start to feel comfortable and begin to participate and enjoy the activities of the club. Just knowing there's someone there to listen who is genuinely interested in helping you can make new members feel they joined the right club. Soon enough, you will meet other members, even on Zoom, and form friendships with them as well. No need to feel intimidated here, as all our members are approachable and will be happy to chat with you. The more you attend meetings, whether by Zoom or in the club, and the more times you enter the various activities, the more you get to know other members and the more they get to know you. That is when you really get to feel the benefit of membership. Once you join the club, I will send you an email explaining the buddy program and requesting you complete a short survey, noting your photography experience, what your photography interests are, and what equipment you use. Now, the survey tells me some very important bits of information, such as, do you have an interest in using the darkroom? Do you need help using your camera? Or do you have photography, or do you have a photography website, Instagram, or Facebook account, and wish to have them added to your club website so your images can be viewed by other members? So unless you complete the survey, I won't get to know this information, and I can't pass it on to other members of responsibility that will ensure you will then get information from about the darkroom, about your social network, etc. The quickest way to get answers to your questions and queries is to contact your buddy. So we are now come to the end of the presentation, and we're going to have a break. But before doing that, Nora's going to tell you about the tour that we can have in the clubhouse.
Okay, so everybody that wishes to go on the tour, I'll have you come up here in a few minutes, and you'll be visiting 3 places. You'll be visiting the Powell Gallery, and Andrew will tell you something about that. Right here, Gord McElroy will talk about portrait workshops, and Tom will talk about beginner workshops. And then the 3rd stop is downstairs, where Marco's going to tell you something about the darkroom.